Hi, my name is David Oyelowo, and I feel winningest about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
Winningest.
Yeah.
You win. You beat everyone.
I've just always wanted to use that word in a sentence. They use it in sports a lot, and I thought, where will I get to use that phrase?
It's certainly the most winningest version of this we've ever had.
Oh, well, there
it really
you go.
is.
Yeah.
And I will take it. Thank you so much.
Please do.
And it's funny, the first time you'd been on the show several times
Yes.
on the late night show.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time you came on, I was a bit intimidated.
Oh.
And I'm being honest, because you're such a superb actor and you have such great acting chops. And I just thought, this is a very serious man, and I need
Gravitas is probably the word you're looking for. Yes, I know.
Although I call it gravitas. And but I had this. I've had this feeling of like I've got to get my game together, and I need to be make sure that I. And then you came out, and you were immediately just so hilarious and charming. That
this is a lot of pressure now, Conan.
Oh yes. Well, I'm saying it all went away. That was just the first time I met you.
Oh, right, first impression.
And then I don't know what happened after that.
I know,
You've just been a complete
downhill,
bore.
Downhill. I know.
And then I was thinking, like, Conan, you've been here before because I've been lucky enough to talk to some great actors in my day who are also very funny. I always find it angers me somewhat. It's like, because I think, how can you have both? Like, all I've got is I think I'm kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then that's my excuse for not being able to act my way out of a paper bag.
Yeah.
And here you are, a Shakespearean accomplished actor, and you're one of the funnier people I've talked to.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. You are a very statuesque man. I mean, even just greeting you just now. I mean, you
That's usually what people say about blonde women in the 1950s.
You're also very voluptuous.
That's
how I think of you as a blonde, statuesque woman. But no, you have a certain presence.
I have
and
a presence.
gravitas to you.
I like to think I do.
So you have some intimidation factor.
I have a
as
presence,
well.
but kind of a creepy presence, wouldn't you say?
A little bit. You know what? And it's
No, jump in on right on that.
Wow, you just agreed right away.
You're like, you're not only a great actor, but you're funny. And he's like, well, you're tall.
Something you had nothing to do with.
You're tall and not unwomanlike. Well, I think we're off on a really good foot now.
Yes, thank you for the interpretation there. That was beautiful.
I want to talk about your new show, and there's so many things to discuss. First of all, I was nervous for you when I heard that you were going to play Coriolanus.
Oh, yes.
And I know that you're a Shakespearean trained actor, but I think in my nightmare, and you're playing it, where is the production going to be done?
At the National Theatre in London.
Oh, my God. Yeah. My nightmare would entail being in a Shakespearean play, playing the main role, because my whole life is, I don't know what to do here, so I'll make it up. You can't do that in Coriolanus.
No.
You can't start to say, well, anyway, so what's going on here? Did you see what's in the paper yesterday? You can't.
Yeah,
and if you do, I think they're going to turn on you pretty quickly.
You know what? I actually have that experience. I did a Shakespeare play at the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I just had one of those moments where all the lines went out of my head. And the weirdest thing, you can make it up, actually. Not with much success, but I found the words went out of and I found myself saying sheeps and goats.
What role is this?
I literally, it's Antony and Cleopatra, and sheeps and goats is not something that gives your acting partner anywhere to go. And the blank expression came back, and you know what was so awful that I did? I just exited the stage.
Oh.
How terrible is
You
that?
screwed them twice.
It's so bad. It is one of the things I'm the most ashamed of.
I love recreating this because you blank on your lines, and you're up there, and this is the worst place to butcher Shakespeare.
Yeah.
This is you're in the.
It was in Stratford-upon-Avon at the Royal Shakespeare Company.
The ghost of Shakespeare is there, watching. And he's there every night, just heckling,
and some sheeps and goats.
And some sheep. But to be there and to shout sheeps and goats, and then turn on your heels and stride out,
literally, really bad, really bad. Now you have me thinking what Shakespeare's expressions what his ghost must have been looking like at that point, going, Bloody actors.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of a badass move, actually.
Or maybe Shakespeare's like, I should have worked that in.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
Sheeps and goats.
Note
It
taken.
works.
Oh, so poetic of me.
You have such a fascinating story because you were born in Nigeria, moved to England, but then moved back to Nigeria. Is that what happened?
Born in the UK, moved to Nigeria for about 6 years, then moved back to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Born in Oxford, moved to London, then to Nigeria. Formative years of my life spent in Nigeria from age of 6 to 13. And then born into, an immigrant family, immigrant parents for whom the arts was just not on the docket.
There's the immigrant experience of you must climb the ladder, legitimacy, and then you're telling them, I have an idea. I'll put on costumes and pretend to be people.
Literally. I remember saying to my dad that I was thinking of being an actor, and he said, why do you want to go and be with all these promiscuous court jesters?
Oh, would he be proud of you now, right? this Conan O'Brien.
Here I am with the ultimate court jester.
That is fantastic that he had that attitude.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, he's royalty.
Yeah. His father was the king of a part of Nigeria called Awe. So yeah, the idea of me becoming a promiscuous court jester was very, very, very low on the royal ambitions my family had for me.
So how did you convince them? Was there a turning point where your father looked at you and said, I get it?
Yes, and ironically and beautifully, it was tied to royalty yet again. After that season, believe it or not, after I had said sheeps and goats, I was invited back to the Royal Shakespeare Company to play Henry VI. And in Henry VI, it's parts 1, 2, and 3. And on a Saturday, we would perform all 3 plays in a day. We would start at 10:30 in the morning and finish at 10:30 at night. Now, my dad, he's no longer with us, but when he was with us, he was someone who quite easily would fall asleep in the middle of a 3-minute duologue between actors. You gave him a warm room, a nice comfy seat, and he's out. So my wife was sat next to him on this Saturday, where he was there to watch all 12 hours of Henry VI Part 1, 2, and 3. She was armed with mints, her shoulder to jab him in the ribs, the whole thing. He stayed awake for the entire thing. And he came on the night that then Prince Charles also came for all the performances. So you're talking about a man who came to the UK in the 60s, dealt with unbelievable racism. The notion of any Black person playing the King of England was so impossible. And I remember him coming to the stage door afterwards, and the phrase he said to me is, I cannot believe they allowed a Black man to play the King of England, and it is my son? And that was the moment. That was the turning point. And that's the point beyond which he became my number one fan until his passing. It was a truly beautiful thing.
I mean, it's tingly, getting all tingly, but just the I can only imagine, I mean, I can't imagine, but what your family encountered when they come to a very different England in the 60s. Mm-hmm. And then to see this come about, to see, it's unbelievable. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is, and it was, and it's one of the most beautiful things. My dad was a minicab driver in London, and years after that moment at the Royal Shakespeare Company, I've now moved to LA and I'm getting to be in movies, and I could always tell when he had a passenger in the car because he would go, David, are you doing that movie with Tom Cruise? and I would go, Daddy, who's in the car? Nobody's in the car. Have you met Steven Spielberg? I am not making this up. The worst.
And the background, hey, you missed my house.
Exactly. Daddy, please focus. The one that I will never forget is when he goes, David, where is it you live in LA? Is it Beverly Hills? And I said, Sherman Oaks. Yes, that is it, Beverly Hills. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry, whoever's in the car.
Also, you can imagine the person in the car thinking, what maybe, or this could all be, it's not proven. I mean, this could be a madman just calling anyone at random.
That is exactly what they are thinking.
Yeah.
They are thinking, I want a refund. I'm giving this guy the worst review. Because that was exactly how he would scream at me on speakerphone with these poor people just wanting to get from A to B.